There was once a kingdom of gold, idols, and power, where people worshipped what their hands had carved, statues of stone, figures of wood, and a king who called himself God. In this kingdom, truth was a threat. Questioning falsehood was rebellion, and one man stood alone. He shattered the idols, he shattered the lies, and they lit a fire for him, so great it roared into the heavens. But Allah, Subḥānahu wa Taʿālā, had a different plan. This is not just a story of fire and survival. It's the story of a heart that feared nothing but its creator. The story of a man who challenged a king and was saved by a single word from the Lord of the worlds. This is the story of Prophet Ibrahim, ʿalayhis salām. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, let's start. Long before Islam reached Arabia, there was a man who walked alone, yet never lonely. Ibrahim, ʿalayhis salām, had questioned everything. He looked at the stars, the moon, the sun, all things his people worshipped, and he said, "I do not love those that disappear." Surah Al-An'am 6:76-79. He knew deep inside only one true God could exist, one creator, one sustainer, Allah, Subḥānahu wa Taʿālā. His people worshipped idols carved with their own hands, so he made a bold move. One day, while the city was away at a festival, he entered the temple. Alone, and with an axe, he smashed every idol, except the largest one. When the people returned, they were furious. "Who did this to our gods?" Ibrahim, ʿalayhis salām, stood calmly and pointed to the large idol. "Ask him if he can speak." They were silenced. Deep down, they knew the truth, but their arrogance would not let them admit it. The news reached the king Nimrod, who ruled like a god. He summoned Ibrahim, ዐlayhis salām, and the young prophet spoke the truth to power. He told Nimrod that Allah, Subḥānahu wa Taʿālā, gives life and causes death. Nimrod, arrogant and mocking, said, "I too give life and death," and brought forth 2 prisoners, executed one and spared the other. But Ibrahim, ዐlayhis salām, said, "Allah brings the sun from the east, then bring it from the west." And the king was silenced. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:258. The people, furious that their beliefs had been challenged, cried, burn him to ashes." They built a fire so massive birds fell from the sky, just flying above it. It was so hot that no one could even go near it. They built a giant catapult, tied Ibrahim, ዐlayhis salām, and flung him into the flames. But as he flew through the air, his heart was calm. He said, "Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel." Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. And then Allah Subḥānahu wa Taʿālā gave a single command. "Fire, be cool and safe for Ibrahim." Surah Al-Anbiya 21:69. The flames obeyed. From a blaze meant to destroy, he landed in peace. Not a hair on his head was burnt. Not even the ropes that tied him survived. The people stared in shock. The king was humiliated, but Ibrahim, ዐlayhis salām, walked out, untouched, unafraid. This was not just survival, it was a message from the heavens that truth will always stand. That fire cannot harm a believer when Allah protects. That no power on earth can silence the call to Tawhid. Ibrahim, ዐlayhis salām, later became the father of prophets, of Ismail, ዐlayhis salām, Ishaq, ዐlayhis salām, and from their descendants, Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But it all began with one man standing before a tyrant and a fire that turned cool by the will of Allah, Subḥānahu wa Taʿālā. This is not just a story of survival, it's a story of conviction, of courage, of a fire that bowed to faith. If this story moved your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. So the world knows the beauty of our prophets and the miracles of Allah's mercy. Spread the story. Spread the truth. Until next time, As-Salāmu alaykum.